Welcome to the Eye of the Tiger. Today on the Eye, we'll explore hot topics with the fabulous Stacy Black, Professor Clarence Ball, and Coach Benjamin Unanue. We'll talk to one woman who is central to Nashville's art scene, and we'll visit with Gordon from Sesame Street. Stay tuned, because when you're in the Eye, you know you're in the know. Eye of the Tiger starts when? Starts now. Before we get started, you know I have to give my traditional shout-outs. First, to Viola Davis for her Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for her portrayal of Abilene Clark in the movie The Help. A shout-out to Sean Diddy Combs for creating his own music-themed cable TV network, Revolt. Revolt is scheduled to launch December 12th of 2012. That would be 12-12-12. You go, Diddy. And a shout out to our very own Tennessee State University Forensic Speech team for winning second place in the nation out of 62 universities at the 2012 Mid-Year Championship. Okay, TSU Forensics. And if you know someone who deserves a shout out or who wants to join us here on Eye of the Tiger, send us a Facebook message at Facebook/Eye of the Tiger TV show or on my website, KimberlyLamarck.com. Okay, let's welcome our Hot Topics guest. First and foremost, hairdresser extraordinaire, Stacy Black of Salon Mogul, professor and assistant director of TSU's forensics team, Clarence Ball, and TSU forensics coach and public administration graduate student, Benjamin Unanue. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing good.
Good to see you. Doing good. Doing real good. You like my hair?
I do.
Yeah, Stacy did it.
Dude, I'm like, Stacy's on the job, right?
I'm telling you, he is on the job. You got to give him his props.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a birthday.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Turned 26.
Do
yesterday.
anything exciting?
Just hung out with friends, enjoyed myself. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. You didn't do anything naughty, did you?
No.
No? Well, I hope you had a good time. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And congratulations to the both of you for the
you.
success of the forensics team.
Thank
This
you
is
so much.
awesome.
Yes.
You know, working hard.
Working
hard. Okay, now, are you from the North or the South?
I'm from the South. I'm from Houston myself.
You're from Houston. You
Yes.
consider that the South.
I consider that the South.
That's
I
very
do.
South, isn't it?
It's very Southeast Texas. Yeah,
well, you
it's
think
South.
about the South. Where does it start? Like in Tennessee or Virginia? It goes to Alabama, Mississippi, and then down to Texas?
I
You
think
say the South?
the North Florida, I would think, because they're really southern.
Yeah,
and their
around
accents
Tallahassee.
reflect it. Yeah, around Tallahassee, I would say.
Around Tallahassee. Okay. All right. And any Northerners here?
I mean, I'm from the West Coast.
Oh, you're
but-
from the West Coast.
yeah.
Oh, you're a different animal altogether. Okay. All right. You're from the South?
Nashville.
Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville?
It starts at Nashville.
Oh, it's the South starts in Nashville. Oh, not in Virginia. It starts in Nashville and goes down. Okay.
Starts with us.
Of course it does. Of course it does. The South starts with Nashville. Well, I'm from the North. I'm from your traditional North, Boston, Massachusetts,
England.
right?
Wow.
New
Yeah.
England, you know, New
England.
York, you know, all us fast-talking Yankees, you know? But, you know, is there a difference? You think there's a big difference between Northerners and Southerners?
Big
I think
difference.
there's
Yes.
a
Huge
difference.
difference.
I was in
Yeah.
Boston this past
Yeah.
summer, and I mean, just the difference in the fact that I realized people from the North aren't really rude. It's just that people are right next to you all the time on top of you. You know, like more than half of the people in the United States live in the northern corridors. So here
Yeah.
down in the South, everybody's used to having space. They're used to, you know, standing in the grocery aisle and taking too long because
right,
somebody
'cause-
decides to have a conversation with the person checking the stuff out.
Right, and it's a
So-
long conversation.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference between Northerners and Southerners can be seen in their accents.
Yes.
Northern accents are associated with being abrasive, lacking manners, being fast-paced, and even being smarter than their Southern counterparts. Now, Southern dialects have the opposite first impression, including the notion of being a little slower. But more often friendly in contrast to their Northerners. Do people judge you on your accent?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah?
definitely.
Yes, they do.
Really? Oh, what kind of reactions do you get?
When I'm in New York, they'll say that again. And then they'll call somebody over, listen, watch him say this.
Yes.
Now say it.
Oh, like you're on display.
Yeah. Say it.
When I
Yeah.
first moved from Houston, I used to talk like Bias. And when I got to the speech team, everybody was like, okay, you cannot do that because
Right.
people will think that you're stupid, right? And I'm like, oh, that's harsh.
Oh, that's what
So
they think Southerners are stupid.
That's what
when
people.
They,
That's
yeah?
that's what they told me. So I was like, okay, let me get back to that Midwestern standard. And then certainly in graduate school, they preached Midwestern standard, Midwestern standard, Midwestern standard. So.
Yeah. And what about you, Ben? Have you noticed the difference between Northerners and Southerners? Do you think that
Yeah.
Southerners are kind of slow?
No, actually, to be honest, probably some of the smartest people I've ever met are from the South.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, a lot of the stereotypes that get heaped on the South, a lot of times, in my opinion, I've found to be unfounded and not true.
Really?
You know, I'm from the West Coast, from Oakland, California. I spent 6 years in Bowling Green, Kentucky when I went to Western Kentucky University. So I'm pretty much living in the South now, here attending school in Nashville. So I like the South. I like the people in the South. They're intelligent, they're nice, just a different pace.
Different
agree.
pace, yeah.
I think with etiquette though is really interesting because I didn't really understand etiquette as much until I got to the North and I observed how people ate. Like the culinary etiquette of the North is very unique because everybody's very European with how they hold their knives and their forks and everything is placed very strategically. And in the South, it's not necessarily like that. It's like if you have a napkin, you just go ahead and eat. You know, it's very different.
I think in
Yeah,
the
is
South
that
too,
true?
it's more so. I think it's more so being a good host too. You know, when
Yeah.
you invite people over, you just want them to generally have a good time. I think in the North, it's just understood you're going to have a good time, but we're going to do it in order.
Yes, very
Yes,
orderly.
yes.
Very
You know what? I
orderly.
noticed that too because I'm from the North, as I said, and you know when I eat with people from the South, sometimes they, you know, like they take their bread and they just butter the whole.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And
They
start
just
jumping on it.
lop
And
stuff
I'm
on,
like,
it's
why
like,
don't
put
you
it
just
on your plate.
Butter the piece you're going to put in your mouth.
Yes,
Right.
no.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there is a etiquette in terms of
Yeah.
eating.
It's a very
Yes.
it's a very distinct etiquette
There's
in
one
terms
thing
of
I've
eating,
noticed
and unless you take-
sometimes with people from the South, and that's when it comes to the eating, is just that sometimes, even though they move at a slower pace, when it comes to eating, they don't sometimes use the time to breathe. So
Oh, you think they're just shoveling it? Is that
just,
what you
yeah,
mean?
you know, often, sometimes my colleague right here,
He's
over to
talking
my
about
left,
me, right?
I hear him
talking about me.
breathing while we're eating.
I eat extremely fast, right? I'm Cajun. I'm like, I can't wait to sit down and eat, right? However, I will say, as far as he's talking about being a good host and things like that, when you get to Louisiana, which is where my family is from, you do not eat in your house unless you have offered everyone in your house an opportunity to partake in the food with you. And that's very different than in the North. In the North, it's like, okay, I brought my food. Did you bring you something? You know? Did you? Because if you didn't, you might not get some of what I got. So I'm just, you know.
I think in the South, people have a genuine concern for the other person. Where in the North, it's kind of like, I need to do what I need to do.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you don't have yours. I've got mine.
Well, it sort of
Right.
bleeds over into business. You know, when I
Yes.
first came here to the South and I wanted to do business, I like walk into a certain office and I would say, "Excuse me, do you have such and such?" And they would say, "Oh, good morning, Professor Lamarck. How are you?" I was, "I'm fine, thank you."
Do you have such
Did
and
you have
such?
such and such? And they would look at me and say, "Oh, and I'm fine too. Thank you for asking." You know, so I got it. It was like etiquette. Like
Right.
you had to have
Exactly.
social etiquette before you come to get what you need.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You know, in the South, you just say hello when you meet people, people that you don't even know. You just say hello if you make eye contact.
Right.
In the North, if you say hello, do you know me?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Do I know
That's
you?
true. Right.
So
It
that's-
was a
that's
culture
interesting.
shock for me when I moved to Michigan to go to graduate school. When I got to Michigan, I would walk into a restaurant and I'm expecting a greeting like, "Hello, sir, can I help you?" Something like that. They're looking at you like, if you're not gonna pick up nothing and buy it, like, can you get out? Like, what do you? You know, it's very abrasive like that, very abrasive. Whereas in the South, you know, unless you get that greeting, you don't want to shop in that particular place because you feel like you're not welcome. You know, so it's very cut to the chase.
Yes.
if
And
you will.
you know, but I'm Northern. I'm like that. When you come to my office, cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Right? What did you come for? Because
Yes.
you know, I mean, and I realize that, and I alter myself when I go into other offices. I was like, oh, I better get with my Southern.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
People like to feel appreciated in order for them to do things for you.
They
in the South.
do.
And
Yes.
Southerners we feel as though we need to just feel comfortable. You need to make others feel comfortable if
Yes.
they're around you.
Yes. Very much so.
Yeah. Well, noticeable differences also show up between Northerners and Southerners in their driving styles, particularly when it comes to the horn. A Southerner will never honk their horn. They will sit there and watch the light turn green, then turn red, then green again, but will not honk their horn at you. On the other hand, Northerners will honk for even hesitating at a green traffic light. Does a Southerner have more manners in general than a Northerner?
If you're talking
Negative.
about traffic, I don't necessarily think it's so. I think
think
it's
that's equal.
being from a megatropolis, because like I said, I'm originally from Houston. We will blow you off the road if you don't get out of the way. You know, that's just how we were taught to drive.
They
'cause we
lay
all have
on the
people-
horn?
Yes. You better move out the way, right? But when I got to Nashville, people don't even use blinkers. This is the only city in America you can buy a used car. The blinker has never been touched. Okay?
Absolutely.
So it's very different.
I agree with them. Nashville drivers, I'm sorry, but y'all are terrible.
It's
I've
terrible.
been in a lot of places in the country.
It's
Nashville
like-
drivers
like,
take
whoa.
the cake.
It's like, stop it.
No, you're not terrible.
I'm going to say, no, well, I don't use my horn, but I'm a screamer. I like to let the window down, do eye contact, and just scream. I like to do the facial expression, the whole nine. So no, I don't use my horn.
You don't use your
I
horn,
don't
you
do
use
it at
your
all. I
face.
just scream. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
What about your blinker? Do you use your blinker?
Yeah, I use the blinker.
You sure?
Yeah, I do. I do.
I wasn't
I've
sure
got
about
enough
that.
tickets that I use
She's
the
got a
blinker.
Oh, because you didn't. Oh, all right.
The
Well,
crazy
you know,
dri-
they say when you put your blinker on, it's a sign of weakness. You know.
Right, it's a sign of
this is
weakness.
what-
It's like,
right,
may I
yeah,
please
may
get
I
over, as
please
opposed
get over?
to,
You
I'm
know
getting over.
I want to get over.
Right, right.
Right?
In the South, the craziest road rage I've ever seen is somebody grabbed like a skillet and started flailing it out of the window, like
Oh, my
at the other
goodness.
car. I was like, is that a skillet?
Right.
What is? Like, it just got real crazy on the road. So I was like, okay.
I don't think I've seen the skillet out the window. I mean, I've seen
Yeah,
the
that was my
faces.
first time.
You know, if, like you make a mistake in a lane, you try to get over, and you know they're like beeping you just to know so you
Right.
don't hit them. But as they go by, they give you the look.
You get the look.
Oh,
you
you
get the
get the
I
look.
tell
LOD.
you, I tell you
Right.
what I
Of
think is
disgust.
different. Usually when you throw on your signal, the person's going to let you over. I find in the South, and when you're kind of up north, you have to take it.
Oh, you do.
You got to
You
take
do.
it.
You do. You have to take it. You
to
know.
take it.
Well, differences also arise in women. Northern women don't sugarcoat a situation. They don't play games. If they don't like you, they tell you. And on the other hand, some Southern women use what some would call false charm and sugarcoat their feelings. For instance, using sayings like, bless her heart. You know, you might say, oh, she's ugly as a bar, so bless her heart. Making it all seem a little more tolerable. Are Southern women more polite?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
They are?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, they
Yes.
are.
When
Most
I first
definitely.
met one of my clients, she was from up north, and she wasn't that pleasant the first visit, but after a while, she became more.
What?
Now she's totally warm. She's warm now.
See how nice you said that as a
Yeah.
Southerner? You could have said, look, Kimberly, I know
She's
you
a real
really
piece
were.
of work.
My mom always taught my female cousin that women in the South have to be like a Southern belle in order to be accepted in society, and certainly after you go through like your debutante and things like that. So I think that it's very unique. The thing that sticks out to me the most is the ugly baby thing. Like, say for instance, you see an ugly baby. People in the North are like, "Ooh, that's an ugly baby." People in the South are like, "Oh, that's a pretty shirt that the ugly
That
baby
is true.
has on."
That is true.
So it's a lot different.
Many of
that
the
way.
time I've complimented a baby's outfit.
Yes, because you don't want to say,
Because you don't want to say the
Yeah.
baby's
"Get
ugly.
that ET looking
Yeah.
baby." You know,
Oh,
like-
goodness.
Or either you tell them, you know, the baby's going to grow into their look.
Oh, is that
or
what
their
she
ears,
said?
or their
Yeah.
ears.
Oh.
Right. It's rough.
to it.
It's
All right.
rough.
But what are other differences between Southern women? I mean, do they?
The way that Northern women break up, you might get it in a text message or email. You know, they might send you a text message or me, "Oh, well, you know, it was nice to know you, but you know, I'm kind of busy now, and I don't think this is the best thing for me." A Southern woman will have to break up with you face to face. It's just common courtesy.
Southern women still cook.
Yeah. They
They
cook.
still cook.
Ooh, the northern women are not gonna be
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
right
That's what I
now.
got to tell you. You want to eat, we got to go out. Hey, look, we got to flip to commercial. But stay with us. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.